All right, so I guess we should start this week's meeting. I don't think anyone else is going to be joining us, which is totally fine because, of course, we will be recording these and it will be posted on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page. So members should feel free to watch them there, and there's no pressure to join these events live. So let's begin as we usually do with a check-in where we talked about how we applied what we learned last week to our game this week. So, of course, last week we discussed virtual pickup, e-game, so to speak, how to pick up girls over Zoom, in this time of coronavirus. So, Milo, would you like to share any experiences, any stories you had, any successes, any triumphs, any failures, any obstacles that you faced with virtual pickup this week? Milo, yeah, you can please share any stories that you have about virtual pickup
Can I
this week.
talk?
Yes, please share any stories that you have.
All right. Sorry. Earlier you asked me not to say so much, but you're asking me
Yeah,
to talk.
I'm
So
asking directly.
here I go. Here I go. For in terms of Zoom class, dude, I was hoping you'd ask me this because I actually meant to text you about this, but my phone cannot be found. But during Zoom class this last week, I used some of the techniques we were talking about in our thingy. So that was actually a pretty cool feeling.
That's amazing, man. I'm really happy to hear that. What techniques did you apply?
I was staring at the girls and also like assessing their vibe and their
Right.
sort of way of how they're
Doing
moving.
radar. It's called radar.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's great, man. Did you catch any vibes from any of them?
Some of them seem to be listening to the teacher.
Right. But like towards you.
Towards me, I think so.
All right, so this is, of course, for those of you who don't know, the Weekend Warrior or Saturday Sweepstakes bracket, a kind of weekly competition that we do over here at Secrets of Men. It's a really fun and entertaining way to discuss and break down why alpha males are alpha. And we kind of put them against each other. We have different categories. So a couple weeks ago, it was politicians. We also had athletes and
Video game characters. Remember?
well, we also do some joke ones too. Yes.
Go Luigi. Remember that?
Right. But this week we have kind of a serious one, and one that I've been really looking forward to, and that is fictional characters. So we're going to be comparing the titans of the silver screen and of the small screen, and let's see who the most alpha man is. So for each round, Milo and I, or whoever's in the meeting at the time, we choose sides and we kind of debate.
Remember one time Brandon came, but then he left.
We kind of have an intellectual debate. We use reason, we use logic to try to argue why our character for the round is more alpha. So, starting off, we have Don Draper versus Tony Stark. Milo, would you like to choose a champion?
I'm gonna go with I'm a big fan of Weekend Warrior, as you know, so I'm hype on this. But let's get down to business. So I'm gonna go with Don Draper, the man.
All right. Well, that leaves you with Tony Stark.
Hey, not a bad guy to have in your corner.
Not a bad guy to have in your corner. Exactly right. All right. So let's get going. All right, so how this works is we each have 1 minute to argue in favor of our character. So I will begin with Tony Stark, and my 1 minute clock will begin.
Wait, do we have to do the timer, bro? I feel like then it makes it do us faster.
Right, but part of making a convincing argument, the use of reason is condensing your argument into as short a time period as possible. That's a good kind of exercise of logic. So we're going to do with the timer this week. Starting now. So where to begin with Tony Stark? Maybe one of the most memorable characters who has existed ever if not within the 21st century. Tony Stark, he is, first of all, a little background on him as a person. He's a billionaire. He's a self-made billionaire. He's a genius. He's invented a tech company. He's a playboy. He's got so many girlfriends. And not only because he has so much money, but because he has an acid wit, because he's sarcastic, because he has that doesn't give a fuck attitude. And that's even before he became a superhero. After he became a superhero, Tony Stark is not only all the things I mentioned before, but he's also saving the world on what seems to be a bi-weekly basis. He is the captain of the Avengers. He's not just any superhero. He's in charge of them, and he's making tough decisions that only leaders have to make. For instance, in Captain America Civil War, it's Tony Stark who makes the tough decision to actually well, actually, maybe Tony Stark. I mean, he maybe deserves more than a minute. What do you think?
Or Dom Drake. Wait, what? Am I going?
I guess you want me to set the timer?
I guess they want me. Yeah.
All right, all you, bro.
Is it going?
Mm-hmm.
Where to start with Dom Draper? For him, he's always wearing a suit. That's first and foremost. He's always wearing a suit. He's a dapper guy. He's got a cigarette in his mouth and he looks kind of concerned. He is in charge of so many things. And for who's he up against? Tony Stark, who you're always texting me about Tony Stark and how he's a billionaire and how he's got a lot, he's saving the world, and he is Iron Man, and he's got a lot of women, like you were saying, and he's sort of a badass.